Hey, everyone. I am Cynthia Conte, and
I'm Jeandra LeBeauf.
And welcome to the best women's boxing show, period. We are here for another episode, and we got a spicy one for you. Mikaela Mayer, the Unified WBO and IBF, and of course, Ring Magazine champion. She's here in the house. Well, she's not here in the house with us, but she's over at her house getting ready for fight camp because she's got a big fight April 9th against Jennifer Han. Can we get her on right now, please?
Yay!
Hi.
Hey!
How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming on to our show, since we know that you're very, very busy and you're about to go hit the gym because you got a big fight.
Last week is always the toughest. Some coaches taper their fighters. Coach Al's not one of those. So it's always tough, but I'm feeling good.
I love the things that you post about him. I watched recently, you posted something on your Twitter of you running on the treadmill, and he was still keeping time on the treadmill while you were on the treadmill on his own little stopwatch. What is he timing? What is he timing on the stopwatch that the treadmill is not timing?
He's timing the rest. We were doing intervals that day. So like a minute and a half sprints and then you take it down and then you go back up. And I can do that myself, obviously on the treadmill, but it's kind of like my thing that I always talk about. Boxing coaches are just so hands-on. Like only a boxing coach would be sitting there timing you on a treadmill where you could definitely be timing yourself. So, but it's fun. You know, he lives with me here when I'm in camp. I spend half the camp up there in Michigan where he lives, and then he comes out here to Colorado. So, I mean, we're together the whole time. He doesn't just send me to the gym. He's there hands-on watching me do everything.
That's beautiful.
I really love the relationship you have with your coach, because it's very much like a father-daughter relationship, and he just doesn't let go. He always wants you to be the best and for you to be the best in the ring, and you've proved it time and time again, by your performance. Was coach a little adamant, because a lot of trainers are adamant to train women. Why did you think this was the perfect match?
Well, it's not like I had a lot of options, you know. Women still don't have a ton of options the way the men do. When you see a young male boxer coming up in a gym and they show potential, you have plenty of coaches trying to take them under their wing and turn them into a world champion. It's not that way with women, because coaches don't really see the incentive. There wasn't any before. My dad found Coach Al, and he was all the way in Michigan. I was living in LA. I wasn't happy with my coaching at the time. I feel like I needed someone better to get me to the top. And he told me that I can go up to Marquette, Michigan, train with this guy named Al Mitchell, who was a 2-time Olympic coach at the time, and I can go to college. And I was 19, so I was like, well, that's probably what I should be doing right now anyway. And that sounds perfect to me. And I hopped on a plane 2 weeks later, and I mean, the program shut down, and I didn't get to finish school, and they cut the funding for that, but I knew I wasn't going to leave Coach Al. I was like, this is the guy that's going to get me to the top. I need to stay here.
You know, I made a really bold prediction when we were shooting some of our early episodes. I said that women's boxing is going to take over from men's boxing within the next 5 years. As a woman who lives and breathes and is in the sport, how close do you think women are from taking over? We're seeing it in other sports that women are taking over. How far behind do you think boxing is at this point?
Well, boxing got a little bit of a later start than I think most other female sports. You know, you've seen WNBA and gymnastics, swimming. Like, you see women competing in these sports, even though they may not have the platform that the men have. Like, you still see it. But women weren't allowed to compete in the Olympics for boxing until 2012. When I left the Olympics, no promoters were signing women yet. It's only in the last couple of years that promoters are now picking up women, and you're able to see these females with like these accolades like world champion and Olympian and Olympic gold medalist. It was never a thing before. So look how far we've come in just that short amount of time. There's no denying us now. The talent pool is just so deep, and there's just so many talented girls coming up that it's going to grow very fast. How fast, I don't know. We still have a lot of work to do, I think. And I'm just trying to do the most that I can while I have the platform and I'm still active in my career.
Mm-hmm. I think you're one of the best ambassadors for women's boxing, or just in boxing in general. I love a quote that I saw on Top Rank. I cannot remember exactly, but you said that you are making change and you're still creating change in boxing, and it's part of the legacy of yours. And I truly, truly love that, because you stomp your ground, you put it with heels, and you say it loud, and I love that about you. Now, okay, I know that you're very short on time because we got to get you in the gym. We do this with fighters. We're pulling it from the ring ratings.
Okay.
One word about this fighter, what they would describe them. Mikaela Mayer.
Great.
Delphine.
This is fast. Am I doing this?
Yeah, just one word. First thing that comes to your mind.
Yep.
Delphine Pursoon.
Strong.
Alycia Baumgardner.
Unproven.
Maiva Hamadouche.
Relentless.
Oh, yeah. Choi.
Fake. The worst. Get her out of boxing. I know that was more.
It's all right. Terry Harper.
I need more than one word.
Yeah, go ahead. Say it out loud.
Say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest.
Potential. Lots of potential. Moved horribly. But I wish her the best.
Okay, now the one name that we did say, Baumgardner, she has been very vocal, and so have you on Twitter. You're very vocal on Twitter. Why didn't this fight? I understand that there's belts on the line. You want to be undisputed. Why didn't Baumgardner? Why wasn't this fight made? Why wasn't Choi made with you? What happened?
Didn't want it. Baumgardner didn't want the fight. Her and Eddie said no. My team reached out. We wanted that fight, obviously. I didn't want someone like Han. I'm grateful for the fight. I know she's going to bring it tough. She had a big fight with Katie Taylor, but I wanted Choi or Baumgardner. And they said no. They're reserving for each other. Baumgardner and Choi are going to fight each other. When is that? I don't know. Baumgardner has a mandatory against Elham Khalid. So they're going to do that this summer. I don't know. And then fight Choi. So where does that leave me? That leaves me a year from now fighting the winner.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't wait.
No, yeah, I'm not going to wait around for anybody. I obviously want that fight. I'm here for it. If they change their mind and they want to redirect and make this big fight happen now, which I think is important, then we can do that. I'm not saying the fight will never happen, but I have to take fights in the meantime. I'm going to go where the big fights are and where I can make, the biggest noise.
You did make some noise with Choi saying that she is the longest reigning champion in with her belt, and there was no mandatories up until now, miraculously. Am I right?
It's crazy for her to be the longest reigning world champion. She's impossible to make a fight with. My team has tried to do it a couple of years back. Now I know that Eddie's having a hard time matching her and getting her moving. She's fought like twice in 3 years. No top names.
And she hasn't never been stripped?
Yeah, it's horrible. It's really, really bad, especially when you have a division like this 130-pound division that is so heated and so exciting, and we want to get these fights rolling. We have someone like her who's been in the game for a long time and should know better and should want these fights and who should be hungry, and she's not. She's just holding us back, so she's got to go. She has got to go.
Have they been telling you no with some conditions? Like maybe right now, you made it clear that they want her to fight about Alycia Baumgardner. But have they told you something like, have they told you specifically, well, maybe wait for the winner? Or what are they telling you directly?
That's what they want to do. They want her to fight Choi first because so far Eddie's keeps losing belts to me. So he going to that undisputed fight, I'm sure he wants to have a little bit more negotiation control there, right? So letting Baumgardner get that belt from Choi, which I believe she will do, gives them more power, puts them in a better position going into undisputed fight with me. So I get it. I guess it makes sense strategy-wise and business-wise, but at the end of the day, I can't sit around and wait for that because that's a year down the road. I want to make these fights happen now. And so if I have to, I would love to go up to 35 and challenge the winner of Taylor versus Serrano, or there's plenty of other really exciting fights for me. And if I have to kind of go up and if I have to back down, maybe it's sort of all up in the air. We have to kind of take it one fight at a time. I want the fights to happen. I'm not going to make it hard to happen. I'm really not going to make it hard. So it's not on me.
No, it's true. And it's very hard because we've seen this in women's boxing. It's very hard to find an opponent because you have to move up and down in weight, or for the very fact that you're going through is that some fights are just not being made because of either their promoter or whatever excuse. But you did mention Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. I know that you're going to be at that fight. Who do you have in this fight and why?
So I've said this so many times. Everyone keeps asking me, but it's just how I feel.
Rephrase it a different way.
So I have respect for both of them. They've done so much for the sport, but they've done it in like completely different worlds, like two different paths completely. And their styles sort of show that. I think that Katie Taylor still has a very amateur style. It's not bad. It's great amateur style. It's won her a lot of fights. She's gone really far with that. But Serrano has a very, very sound pro style because she never really competed in the amateurs. She's always been in the pros. So you have two great women from two different backgrounds coming together, two very different styles. And so it's really going to depend like who has a better game plan, who stays most disciplined. I know that a good style, amateur style like Katie Taylor, who has a very high punch count and speed, I think that she'll win the first few rounds of maybe the first half of the fight against someone like Serrano, because that style can kind of throw off a pro. It's a lot at once, right? But then a good sound pro style can sort of take over in the second half and impose their will a little more. And so I think that that's kind of that maybe is how it will go. Katie Taylor takes the first half, Serrano sort of takes the second half. But I'm just going to make a prediction that it goes to decision. I'm just going to stay firm on that for fun. I'm going to say it goes to decision, and it's just whoever really performed the best in their time of that fight, in their half of the fight, I think will get the decision.
I like the way you say that. I hear Mikaela Mayer, the commentator, because I've been enjoying you that, and you are really, really good at that. By taking on that new responsibility for Top Rank and calling fights, has that helped you in an additional way as a fighter to have that outside looking and more discerning eye as a person who calls the fight? Do you take any of that back with you when you go back in the gym and think about some of the things you've said on broadcast and observations you've made?
Definitely, because when anything that I do, I don't just wing things, right? Like I work hard. I just like wouldn't just walk into a fight without training for it. I don't walk into a commentating gig without studying and like knowing my content and knowing the fighters that I'm going to be commentating on. So in that process of studying the fights, it's like I'm still training. I'm just training my mind, and I'm looking at things and I'm breaking down the opponent and I'm thinking, how can this person win? What do they do good? What could they do better? And so, yeah, it's still like I'm training my mind. And me and Coach Al are really big on studying opponents and studying fights. So I've had some practice doing it in that sense. And yeah, it's fun. It's just sort of like challenging myself in a different way, but still learning. And I feel like it's definitely helps with my boxing as well.
Has Coach Al ever said, this fighter reminds me of you?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny you say that, because Coach Al talks so highly of his past fighters, like Vernon Forrest, his fighter that passed, and Dave Reed, his gold medalist and everything. But he's so harsh, like in person to me. Like I only hear him compliment me when he's talking to other people. So whenever I hear him like talking to people, like listen, like and catch a little compliment, because he doesn't gas me up. Like he's not a yes man.
Good.
And so the other day, he just randomly, he's like, you remind me, I know he thinks so highly of Vernon Forrest, his world champion that passed away. And he's like, you remind me so much of Vernon. And I was like, oh, he finally said it. Because I've always wondered, like, do I remind him of Vernon? Like, is he proud of me the way he's proud of Vernon Forrest and his other champions? So yeah, and mostly is my work ethic. Coach Al always said, he's like, he'll say it to my face. He said it the other day in the gym. She's like, she wasn't naturally gifted. Like she didn't come out.
That's that real love.
Yeah.
He knows that I didn't just come into the gym and he's like, whoa, she's special. He didn't think much of me at all, but he knows that I worked really, really hard. And so, yeah.
See, that's that real love. My mom does that to me too. She will never has no idea what I do for a living, but she'll tell all her friends, oh, you're so good. Oh, my daughter's doing this. So, to say that just means he really loves you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. He does.
What are some of your favorite fights to watch? Since, you guys spend a lot of time together watching fights, do you have favorite fights that you like to revisit from time to time that get you pumped or inspired or that you love to learn from and dissect?
A lot of what just Coach Al forces me to watch. He's big on studying tape. And he does have me study a lot of Verdant Forest because he was tall and rangy, but he also dug really well to the body. Going into fights like Hamadouche, he made me study the body snatcher. And certain things for every fight, he'll be like, watch this, watch this. So yeah, it's just very particular about what he wants me to watch because he doesn't like when I fight everybody the same. Like, he's not the type of coach who's like, just go in there and do you. You're going to do great. Like, he's very specific. Even like getting sparring going into fights, he's very specific about our sparring because he wants to make sure it emulates, whoever we're going up against and stuff like that. So I just let him guide me, whoever he puts me in front of that day.
You mentioned the fight with Hamadouche, and what an incredible fight. I mean, that was one of, that's a top 5 best female fights that I've seen. With that fight, you've learned to adjust yourself, and you took it to her. You both of you were wailing shots. Like, I could not believe it. What did you learn about yourself that night, Mikaela?
Well, being able to go full 10 rounds like that and not just be able to do it, but I started to feel so comfortable in there. Like, we trained to go to the body because we knew that she was going to get us to that point. Like, no matter what, throughout the 10 rounds, like, she was going to get us to that point. But when I started sitting inside and shifting and doing everything that we were training in the gym and digging to the body, I felt so comfortable that it wasn't just like, I know that I can do it if I need to. It's more like, wow, I really feel like I'm becoming a really well-rounded fighter because I can choose now where I want to take the fight. And so that was a great learning experience for me, like a boost of confidence for sure. And I think some people think like, oh God, she can't fight like that. Why would she fight like that? She better not fight this next person like that. Better not fight Baumgardner like that. Like, why the hell would I fight everyone like that? That was specific to Hamadouche. And if I would have tried to box and move and stay on the outside, she would have caught me at the end of her punches. I would have looked like I was retreating, and it would have been an ugly fight. And so I chose to stay there and not let her back me up the way she's done and beaten all of her previous opponents.
I think with that fight, when people who saw that fight, they looked at you so different. They're like, oh my God, Mikaela Mayer can really throw down, because that was such a hellacious fight. And
rumbling.
Man, I want to watch it again because that was so damn good.
That was a damn good fight.
Damn, it was good.
Important to me. So I'm glad that people really loved it. And I do think I gained a lot of respect just being able to fight that way and show my versatility.
Mm-hmm. When you watched the episode Top Rank did with you, where you were in the gym with Andre Ward, when you have an opportunity to get in the ring and spar a little bit and spend some time with him and kind of soak up some wisdom from him, what type of wisdom does he impart on you that you have found helpful?
Well, Andre's very humble and he's very technical. 2 things that Coach Al's always instilled in me. So like listening to him, I could resonate with the things he was saying because that's how I've been brought up and I've been trained. And so when we were working the bag and working certain combinations, like I could understand exactly what he was saying because everything he does is very strategic. So he's a great fighter. He's one of my favorite fighters. Coach Al always tells a story about him working with him in not London, Athens, Greece, when he won the gold. So yeah. Andre's great, huge inspiration, and that was definitely fun getting in there and sparring him. It's tricky.
I love how all of you Olympians are so tight with you and with each other, and Clarissa and Shakur, and just all of you have such a wonderful close that just even has extended into your professional careers. How do you guys maintain that? But I know you are in camp sometime with some of them. You guys see each other in Colorado, but people drift apart and you all still continually support. What is it about that Olympic bond that keeps you all together?
Olympics were like definitely a great time in my life. I think that we all have such amazing memories from that time, and you traveling the world together, competing together, living together, staying in hotel rooms and in dorms. And it was kind of I think of it as like the college experience that we all never got to have in that sense. A lot of, making friends and traveling, like, yeah, we couldn't like go to the parties and do stuff like that. But in a sense, just the dorm life and all that was really fun, and you build a really strong connection. And Clarissa Shields will always be my Olympic sister, and that's something that was once in a lifetime. And one of the I always say after the Olympics, like, and after boxing, like, everything else will be easy. And so it was a very emotional, hard, exciting time in life. And so the people that experience that with you kind of will always stick with you no matter what. And yeah, we don't spend a lot of time together. Obviously we're busy doing our things, but I don't know, we'll just always have that bond. I still see Shakur in a lot of training camps because, you know, he works with Coach K also. He's out here in Colorado. A lot of pros are out here right now. It's a great place to train. Yeah.
Well, you just mentioned Shakur. He has a massive fight against Valdez. Would you be able to give us a prediction for that fight and how that plays out?
Shakur's an amazing fighter. Like, I don't care what anyone says. People haven't even seen, like, his boxing IQ and things that he can do. He's great. That kid's a prodigy. And I just don't see Valdez being able to beat him. I definitely have Shakur winning that fight.
Okay, that's a good one.
I saw a picture of you with Coach Red Spikes, who's in the Crawford camp. They've been together for a long time. What are some of the things that you guys have been working with? We love Coach Red, especially on Twitter. He loves to jump in conversation with us. He's very frank, very honest, imparts some wisdom, and I feel like he's just a real underrated trainer who's worked with this tremendous champion, Terrence Crawford. What are some things that he's imparted on you that he sees, because he always is a student of the game as well?
Yeah, I love that whole team. They've helped me out so much. They've been so great. I mean, we all live up. They come to do their camps here. I live up here. So when I'm not in camp with Coach Al, they sort of take me under their wing. I join in their workouts, and they've been great. Red is actually here right now because I brought him into this camp. Coach K is out there in Vegas working with Duke, and he has a handful of young pros right now. So he stayed out there to take care of that. I'll see him on fight week. And then Red is out here doing the things that Coach Al's like the eyes, right? So he's the strategist and he's the eyes. And then making sure I have the perfect game plan, making sure my feet are right, all the technique is right. And then I got Red. Red's on the mitts. We're working a little more slickness, a little more transitioning, proper rhythm. And, you know, Coach Al's not really on the pads a lot. That's not his thing. He likes to hold the ball. He likes to make sure I'm punching and doing all that. And so it's nice to have Red in here working the pads with me closer to the fight. Coach Al's big on having pad work only close to the fight. He said back in the day, like, boxers, you sparred and you hit the heavy bag. All this pad work, pads lie. You don't need a ton of pad work every day, but getting close to the fight those last 2-3 weeks, he likes it because it keeps me sharp. And so it's fun. It's fun to have someone else in there. He's great energy. He doesn't have an ego. So he takes a back seat to Coach Al, which he should, because Coach Al is the head coach and he's the wizard. So they work really well together, which is important to me. And he's great. This isn't the first camp he's helped me out with. I mean, he's helped me out with a handful of the last camps. But he's been officially in this camp with me for this fight against Han.
Well, you are coming back to OC, where you're originally from. How excited are you to come out in all of your orange gear? We saw it to represent.
I didn't know I was fighting in Orange County when I chose orange.
Oh, really?
Yes. I didn't. I was just like, oh, I'm really into orange right now. I want to do orange. And then they're like, oh, you're fighting in Costa Mesa. I'm like, oh, that's like Orange County. What the hell? So yeah, that was an accident.
No, that's funny.
Well, before we wrap it up, we have a segment that we like to do with fighters. We call it Talk Your Shit. And so we're going to run our time. We have our timer running here. We have 30 seconds. And so whomever you'd like to talk to, whether it be the fans, another fighter, or the world as a whole, Mikaela Mayer, please talk your shit.
Okay. Yes. First and foremost, make sure you tune in April 9th. Mayer versus Han. It'll be on ESPN. Or you get the tickets at the link in my bio. I want to do big things in this sport. I want to go undisputed at 130. I want Choi. I want Baumgardner. I want to do that. If I can't get that soon, I want to go up to 135. I want to challenge the winner of Serrano versus Taylor. There's a handful of other top girls at 35 I'd love to challenge myself against, and even up to 140. There's so much I want to do in this division, while it's still in my prime for boxing. And that's what I'm about. I want to leave this sport knowing that I fought the best and I did everything that I could. And that's what I'm set out to do. That's what I want my legacy to be. So if fights aren't happening, know that it's not me and that I'm not scared of anybody. I want the biggest fights. I believe I'm the best. And I'm just climbing my way to the top of the pound for pound list while I prove it.
Well done.
I know, really well done. Lastly, before we let you go, we see that you have now put the hard hat. You are flipping your own home. How is that coming along?
I know. I bought my first home when I was 2018.
Congrats.
So I was 20 years old, and it was a huge accomplishment for me, especially coming up as a female, not making millions. I just moved my money really well. The market here in Colorado is awesome, and my house went way up. So I sold it, bought another one, total renovation job, but it's up in the mountains, and my dogs love it. It's got tons of potential. So slowly but surely, getting the hammer out and doing what I got to do. My dad's helping me, so that's a huge help, but super fun. Love it. And yeah, I see myself finishing my career in Colorado. So I just wanted to have a big, beautiful, peaceful house in the mountains to do that.
I love that.
I love the
we coming over.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We coming through.
We'll cook.
Okay.
I love what you bought Coach Al for his bedroom, a record player.
Oh.
So sweet. Was he surprised? Did he cry?
Yeah, that's like his room was like priority because I knew he was coming out here. So I wanted to make it comfy and cute for him. It's not girly. It's very, he has his TV mounted as his favorite thing. I thought that'd be cute to have. It's a cute little record player in the corner. I got so far a couple of his, the Drifters, Bruno Mars. He's like a huge Bruno Mars fan. So yeah.
Bruno Mars is in Vegas right now, Silk Sonic. Ooh. The throwback. I think we should try to get tickets. And then, we should ask our boss.
If victorious in this one, you and Coach Al have to go see some Bruno Mars together. You can go do the residency. You'll probably cry for real.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, love that. He talks about him all the time. I have to listen to his favorite song, "Smoking Out the Window" right now. Talks about it.
That is awesome. Well, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Champ. We know you are in camp. You are working hard, and we are just honored to talk with you and take this little time before you get back to the grind.
Thanks. It was fun. I like the show. I'll be back on soon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we would love to have you in studio, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There you go.
You guys are in Vegas. Right? You're in Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll make that happen soon.
For sure.
There you go. Thank you, Mikaela. Good luck to you in your fight April 9th, I believe. Yeah, April 9th against Jennifer Hahn. Take home that belt or bring home the belts. Keep them.
And still.
All right.
Take care, Champ.
Bye.
Okay. Oh my God, I love her. I can't wait for her to get back into the ring. Well, obviously against Jennifer Hahn, but just to see how she's going to fight against Jennifer Hahn, because Jennifer Hahn went 10 rounds with Katie Taylor, so she's battle tested.
And I like what she's saying. If she can't get these fights that she wants to move up. She wants the winner of Serrano Taylor. If she can't get that, she's willing to go all the way up to 140.
Right? And you know what? That's what women have issues with, is if they can't get the fights at their own weight class, they're going to have to jump up in weight. And so when fans get all crazy, well, why is she fighting in this? Is because they can't get the fights in their own weight class because either the promoters won't make them or the fighters won't do them. We don't know the story, but a lot of the fighters that she's talking about are with Eddie Hearn.
And I want to know what, we, for those of you who are watching, jump into send us some tweets, Best Women's Boxing Show on Twitter, and let us know. We want to know about this ability of Choi to hold these belts with no stripping, no repercussions. She's been sitting on the belts for a long time. We're going to find out some stuff. So we want you to join the conversation with us. Send us some tweets. Give us your best, everyone on Twitter is an expert. And so we want to know why you think that she hasn't been stripped, or, cite us some language. Let us know, because we are students of the sport like you guys. And, we want to talk to you. We want to interact with you. You can watch the shows, but we want to talk to you too.
Yeah, she's a WBA female super featherweight champion, 2-weight world champion. So I know she follows me on Twitter. She just recently, maybe I'll just reach out to her and be like,
let's see what's up.
Not to be mean, why haven't you been stripped, but why haven't you fought? Why didn't you take the fight?
I think actually it's a valid question. Why haven't you been stripped?
Well, it's almost kind of like, what is his name?
And especially while you're thinking about that, especially the WBA, because didn't they get rid of a bunch of their belts recently?
Yeah.
Like secondary and other types of
she's the real
titles?
champ.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, we're going to find out. We're going to get to the bottom of it.
Oh, what is his name? I can't remember his name. Why he hasn't fought. He fought Tank Davis. Yeah. Oh my God. Why?
And who also has a fight coming up? Maybe we can get him in here too.
Oh yeah, we want to know: is he with Mayweather Promotions? Who's he going to sign with?
Leonard Ellerby.
Leonard Ellerby. You live
I'ma
in
text
Vegas.
you.
Come on over.
I'm gonna text you and see we can see what's up.
Yeah. All right. I'll have to remember. I can't remember his name, but well, this was fun. I can't wait for her to actually come into studio. I really love Mikaela Mayer. She's very well spoken and she's very honest. And yeah, you know, she used to be a model, right?
Yeah, very straight up. One of my favorite pictures of her is her busting her ass on some roller skates. Now that picture is hilarious. I love that picture of her. But I just love, she just seems so down to earth, so real, so fun. So good luck to her.
I also really like the way that she didn't say who's going to win, Taylor or Serrano.
Yeah.
She did break it down, and I'm thinking, man, if she says it like that, it might, God forbid, it ends in a draw.
I don't know.
No, I don't think the powers that be will allow that.
Those women are going to scrap.
I hope they do.
I do.
I
think
really
they
do.
are.
I mean,
It's gonna be
Katie
great.
Taylor is going to have to really take it to her. Like, and it's in New York City.
I don't know.
Mecca.
Maybe Amanda's watching the Parsoon fight. Just to see what's up.
And yeah, we all know what happened with the Pursoon fight. But I'm not gonna say because we've already said it on a previous episode.
That's right. Go back and watch them.
So, but this is a fun little episode. It was quick, short, but Mikaela gave us the time to hang out with us before she gets into fight camp because she's going to be fighting April 9th against Jennifer Hahn in the OC at the Hangar. So make sure you guys go get tickets. You guys can go to her website or Twitter and Top Rank. But for us, I don't know, somewhere down here because we just got all of our socials. We have our Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So make sure you check out our Caleb Plant full interview. We're going to be dropping some more footage this week, and next week we have some more interviews that's already been done. So check us out. Like, share, subscribe. Miss Jeandra LeBeauf, thank you so much. My beautiful co-host. Oh, you know what? I keep saying her name, but you got your own name. You can say my name in the outro.
I am Jeandra LeBeauf, friend of Cynthia Conte here. And make sure you follow me on my socials here. They were here a second ago, but yeah, make sure you follow me.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to the best women's boxing show, period. Bye, guys.